Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this ruched dress. So I'm going to be using this pattern paper here, and I'm going to make it in form of a short dress, right? So I'm using a stretchy fabric for it, but it's not really that stretchy, it just stretched a little, right? This much, as you can see. So I'm going to be using it to make this ruched dress in front that is going to have like a button down. So now the first thing you're going to do is just to draft out your pattern, your basic bodice, using the hip measurement as the widest part, or wherever that is the widest part. So I just have this pattern paper here. I'm going to link if you don't know how to draft this here. So basically what I have here is just my measurements without my bust divided by 4, no extra seam allowance, because like I said, this fabric is stretchy. So instead of removing any inches from my measurement, I'm going to take away my seam allowance from the body of the cloth, if that makes sense. So instead of adding like our normal 1 inch of seam allowance to the side here, I'm going to take away that seam allowances from the fabric itself, since I'm working with a stretchy fabric, right? So basically I've marked this here. I have my whole thing here. So it depends on where you want your ruche to be. Some people, normally there's a type of ruche you would want to make, and then you just mark it diagonally from the bottom, and then it will be just at the lower part. Sometimes you would make the one that is more at the bust part, or you can make the one that is more on the waist part, or you can make it all the way down to the end. It depends on you. But the one I'm going to be using here is just, I don't want it too much on the bust, so it doesn't make the bust look too big. I don't want it too much by the hip, so it doesn't give it like it doesn't drape too much at the, that's not the look I'm going for, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to make it more towards the waist and a little bit up and a little bit below. So what I'm going to do now is, you see my waistline here, this line that I have here. The next thing I'm going to do is, let's say I go up again by about maybe 2.5 or 3 inches. Let's say I go up 3 inches, mark it, go up another 3 inches and then mark it. Then the same thing below, go down 3 inches, mark it, go down another 3 inches, and then I'm going to mark it. So I'm going to just slash it now. So go in here, mark it in, go in here, mark it in here, and then go in here. So you see, these are the lines I'm going to be using. This is 1, 2, 3, this one 4, and then 5. These are the ones I'm going to be slashing. It didn't get to the hip, right? So now guys, but before you start to cut it out, you see I already marked a 3 inches neckline here and a 1 inch neckline at the back. So I'm going to just draft out the back bodice first. So basically what I need to draft for the back is just exactly how this pattern paper is. I'm just going to fold my fabric into 2, making sure that the stretchy part is facing this way, right? That the stretchy part is facing this way. And then I'm going to cut out a pattern that looks exactly like this paper, because once I start to cut in here, right, and you're going to cut it on a fold, because there's no button at the back, is in front. Because once I start to cut these folds, I can't use this paper anymore to cut the front. So let me go ahead and trace out my back right now. Guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and cut it out. So you see exactly, this is the back panel. I added a little, like 2 inches to it, just for seam allowance, because I didn't add seam allowance to the length because of the length of the paper is short. So this is basically it for the back. You see, trace the shoulder, the neckline. So now we're going to remove it and make changes to the paper before we start to cut out the one for the front. So basically what you're going to change in front is, first you cut your 3 inches of neckline. Guys, it depends on you. You can even do a V neckline. You know, some of them come with a V, right? It depends on you. If you want to make yours a V, you can just bring it down with like this, just slide it down this way, and then just find a way to blend it into this line, and then that's it. It depends on you, the kind of neckline you want yours to be. So now what we are going to do is to just cut out this slash that we want to make. So I'm going to cut this here. I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to just leave it here. I'm not going to cut anymore here. So this is okay for me, because I don't want too much ruche to it. So now what I have to do is just to go ahead again and fold my fabric into two, and then I'm going to place this on it. So guys, you see what I did here? If you want, some people even turn it around. If you want that heavy ruching by the side, some people even turn it around almost like a curve like this. But I don't want that much ruching, so I just did this much here, about like 1 inch in between the spaces. And then once you're done, you're just going to connect the lines like this. Just connect it this way, and that's it. So all I have to do now is to go ahead and cut from here all the way to the end, this way to the side, and then cut it out, and then I have my front panel. This is it here. So all I have to do is just to, I've cut it out. I'm just going to remove the button, the pin, and then take this out. So the front panel is done. All I have to do is now to bring back this ruching, because like I said, my ruching will not be much, because you see, if I place this to be straight now, you see I just have just a little bit here, because the whole point is that I don't want too much. But if I wanted to have too much, I would have tilted it more this way, right? And then it would expand here, so that when I pull it back together, I will have a lot more together here. Like I said, I don't want it that way. So that's basically the whole point of this here. So this is my front, and then this is the back here. So all I have to do is just, you see, I have 2 pieces for the front and 1 for the back. So like we always do here, I'm going to set these 2 aside now. And then what I'm going to do is just to take it and join the shoulder to the shoulder. So this is my back panel. I'm going to just take it the way it is now. Open it up. Like I said, try to make it to stretch this way, right? This way my fabric doesn't stretch, but it's this way that it stretches. So open it up this way, and then I'm going to join the front, like one side to the other. And then once I've done that, so I'm going to take it, join this side to this side, and then join the other side to the other side this way, right? And then once you've joined these parts, you're going to go ahead and cut the type of sleeve you want to use. I just cut a basic sleeve, but guys, you can do a long sleeve. You can, any type of sleeve you want, you can do that. And then once you've cut your sleeve, you're going to cut out. What you're going to do next is just to get your fabric that is going to be, if you open it, it's going to be about 3 inches of width, right? 3 inches of width open like this. But when you fold it close, it's going to be 1.5 width. And then you're going to take it this way and sew it down. Take one side of the front panel, sew it down this way. But remember, wherever you have that ruching, you're going to pull it together, right? You're going to notch it and know where your ruching is, and then you're going to pull it together and sew this placket down on it. If you don't want to do this method here, you can go ahead and just tuck it inside. If you want a very neat, clean finish, tuck in 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on this side, fold it into 2 this way, and then insert this inside of it and sew it down like a placket. But remember, you're going to first measure out the length of the dress, right? So you're going to measure out what it's supposed to be. So from here to the end, but you know that you already have that ruching in between, so you might want to use the back to calculate it and then just subtract 3 inches from it. You understand? For the front neckline. And so that way you can know what the length of this thing is going to be. The length of the placket thing is going to be, and then you can just place it and then put the ruche where you want it to be, pin it down before you start to sew, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do that now. And like I said, I just cut a basic sleeve for mine. Just a basic sleeve is what I'm using for this. So I'm just going to go ahead now and do one side, and then I'll bring it back and show you guys what it's supposed to look like. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and joined this to this. You see how I made the placket here. So you have to ruche it. Just know the particular place where you want your ruche to be. If you look here, you'll see. So all I have to do now is just put button on one, put buttonhole on the other, and it will be on top of each other. So guys, the collar, I know you guys might be wondering how to get this collar. So basically, you're going to just take your fabric and fold it into 2, right? I just took a fabric, folded it into 2 this way, and then the width here is about 4 inches. Right, on a fold, 4 inches on a fold. And then you're going to close one side, close the other end, and then just take it this way, tuck in 1/2 inch in like this, tuck in 1/2 inch inside of it just to fold the edge, and then take the edge of this here, put it inside and sew it all the way till you get to the other end. That's basically how I got this collar. And once you finish, it drops, because this type of dress that has this kind of soft fabric, you can't do the collar that has 2 steps with it, because the fabric is already very light. So this kind of collar will fall perfectly on it. not that you can't do it, but it's just that this one will just relax better, just like folding it and making it just one color this way. So that's basically it. Now I'm just going to go ahead, put in my button, and then fold the end of my clothes, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.